Hi, welcome to Two Batches.
Two Batches Cooking is about home style with ease.
I'm Maria.
And I'm Rosemary.
Welcome in.
Let's go inside and get started. Amen, sister.
Amen.
Woo! We've got two great recipes for you today. I'm going to do a recipe for my grandma. So Grandma Max's Toffee bars. And this is a great pan bar, pan cookie, and you will love it because it will make a nice substitute for your cookie recipes.
I'm going to make some cherry bars. It's a simple vanilla, heavier pound cake type recipe, and it has cherry pie filling in each square. So
two great cookie bar and pound cake bar type recipes. And as you know, if you're serving a big family or a big group, it's much easier to have a pan full of bars than have to make a bunch of cookies. So welcome in. And so hi everybody, this is my grandma's recipe for toffee bars. So there are a couple parts of this, and you'll recognize this from any cookie recipe, that we're going to cream the butters and the sugars and the eggs, and then we'll add in flour and oats. So you don't need this kind of mixer to do this. You can certainly do it with a hand mixer. So this is 2 cups of butter that's been softened. So this is room temp, maybe a little even softer. I'm going to add that in. It's 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1 cup of brown sugar, 4 eggs. See if I can do this without making a total mess. And we're going to add vanilla and salt to this, and then just cream it for a couple minutes. So actually, I'm quadrupling the original recipe so it fits in a sheet pan. And so we need 4 teaspoons of vanilla. So I know it seems like a lot, but I think it's going to be fine. I know it will be fine. And then it calls for 1 teaspoon of salt, so I'm just going to put in what I think is about a teaspoon of salt. Okay. And I started out with unsalted butter, I should tell you that. Okay, here we go. We are now going to cream this. Hold on a minute. You should have your bowl locked in first. So there we go. That's how it's supposed to work. So put it on medium. Put it on medium. Just take a few minutes to cream. Actually put it on high and cream it a little bit more. Make sure the butter is all mixed in. And you soften the butter so it should be mixed in, but just give it a few minutes. Let me check it. Okay, it looks pretty good. Okay, so butter is creamed and the sugars are creamed as well, and now we're just going to add in the flour and the oats. Okay, now that the vanilla and the eggs and the sugars and the butter have been creamed, we're going to add in 2 cups of all-purpose flour and 2 cups of just instant rolled oats. So I'm going to add this. Just take the spatula and combine all this. And then this is a very well greased cookie sheet. And we are going to spread it out on the cookie sheet. Starting to see the bar as it's forming, or the dough as it's forming. It's got that oatmeal in it that kind of gives that kind of grainy looking, healthy looking taste, but they're not very healthy. So we're just working this out. It will spread a little bit when you cook it. So we are just going to form this in to a bar. So after you're done spreading, that's what it looks like. So this is a toffee bar, cookie bar. Just gonna go around and push the edges down a little bit so it cooks evenly. And we are ready to put this into the oven. So here is the toffee bar. I'm going to put it into a 350 degree oven in the middle of the rack for 30 minutes. So longer than cookies, but typically shorter than a cake. Okay,
Voila.
so the toffee bars have been in the oven for 30 minutes and I've let them cool. This is just a little bit warm to the touch, but it's not too warm. In the meantime, I've got some water boiling here. You can do this with a double boiler if you have one. I don't have a microwave. You can also do this in a microwave, but what you want to do is melt some chocolate pieces. So this is a, what size this bag is this? A regular size bag of semi-sweet, oh, there we go, 12 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips. And we are going to melt them over this water here. And so these melt, they seem to start slow, but then they go quickly. You don't want them to burn, but having them in this type of bowl usually protects them. Be careful, the bowl is going to be hot and your pan handle may be hot, and you don't want to do a lot of stirring around, but you just want to guide these as they melt. So once these melt, we're going to cover the top of the toffee bars, and then we'll top it with walnuts, and we'll see how they taste. So this has been melting, and we're in a good spot. It's all liquidy. There are little to no lumps left in it. I'm gonna turn off the heat. So again, be really careful. This is hot. We want to scrape off the spoon as much as possible so we don't lose that chocolate. And while the chocolate is hot, you are going to grab the side of the bowl as best as you can with your hands protected, and you're going to dump this onto the toffee bar. So let's try to use a spatula to get every bit of chocolate out there, and we'll come back and get the rest of this in a minute, but let's start to frost the bar. So it just needs a thin layer, so we're just going to do that. Now, you can eat this one of two ways. You can eat it now while the chocolate's hot, but most of the time we like to let this sit so the chocolate sits up, and it actually will hold on to the nuts we're going to put onto it in the minute, because they kind of get frosted, or with the heat they get stuck in place, which is nice. You don't need to put nuts if you don't want nuts. And another topping that we sometimes do for this is like a toasted coconut or just a coconut flake. So, and now this is a cup of broken walnuts. You can make these finer if you want. As I said, you don't have to put nuts. You can use coconut. So these really kind of give it a little extra taste. Then once this is kind of cooled down and the chocolate is set, this is ready to plate. I'm actually going to grab a couple more walnuts. I think we need a few more. Wonderful. That's it. That's Grandma Max's toffee bar. I cannot wait till it sets and we get to bite into it. It's got a really nice chocolatey sweet taste to it, but the oats kind of give it a rugged taste, so it just tastes so great. So yummy.
Okay, hi, welcome. I am gonna make cherry fruit squares. It is a vanilla cake batter, but more like a pound cake. Oh, the oven's ready for us. We better get going. So I am gonna take a pound of butter along with 1.5 cups of sugar, white granulated sugar. And I will start to mix that. I'm going to incorporate 4 eggs. Turn this up. You want the butter and the sugar and the eggs to all mix together. The butter was at room temperature. So I'm gonna scrape down the sides, and you can use a hand mixer for this. I wouldn't recommend trying to do this by hand, but you could. But it's definitely mixes well with a stand mixer. Okay, so now we're going to add, shake up the vanilla. It's going to be 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm just going to guess. And then I have 1.5 cups of flour. I'm going to start this slowly and incorporate the flour into the sugar, egg, and butter mixture. Okay, so doesn't take long. Everything gets mixed very well. Scrape off the beater. Now you're going to want to have a greased jelly roll size pan. And you're just gonna, the batter is a little thick, you'll see. But it will, with the 4 eggs, it causes it to raise. So as you know, you might have noticed there is no baking powder or baking soda in here. There's also no salt, which kind of surprised me. I didn't realize, but so I'm going to, similar to what Rosemary made with the toffee bars, you just spread the batter evenly as possible on the pan. Now I preheated the oven to 375. These are going to bake for 30 to 35 minutes. And then when they're cool, you do need to let them cool. And then they don't really need frosting or anything, but just a dusting with powdered sugar looks nice. Okay, so now you're actually gonna have to plan for putting the cherry pie filling in. So I'm just strategically marking for cutting. Oh, it's probably about 3 by 3 inch pieces. So I have a can of just regular cherry pie filling, and I'm gonna place a spoonful on each square. Okay, so I'll try, as you can see, here are the bars. I'm gonna put it in the oven and we will come back in 30 minutes. All right, so here we go. The magic begins. Okay, okay, so these need to cool. But these are the cherry bars.
So all's well that ends well, especially if you end with dessert. So we've got Grandma Max's toffee bars here ready for us to taste.
And we have the cherry fruit bars that are also just waiting for us to dive in.
So I'm going to start with the cherry fruit bar.
And I'm going to start with the toffee bar. Look at this. This
Oh my
is
God, look at
awesome.
This. Look at this.
You know what? This is, eat dessert first.
I know.
If you want to eat dessert first, go for it.
And my plate says just 1 bite and it's got a shark on it. But I need more than 1 bite, so. Again, these are 2 dessert batches. So good.
Very good.
I'm gonna take a bite of this one and see what it tastes like. How
That's
is this
great.
one good?
Oh yeah. You know, I grew up eating these bars at Rosemary's house, so it's like a good feeling memory, warm feeling, good thoughts.
And this reminds me from coming home from school in the fall, finding these in our home kitchen already made. Yeah, I could eat a whole pan of these, but I shouldn't. But
Yes.
thank you so much.
Well, thank you for joining us. Remember, 2 batches. We will be back soon with another episode.
Amen, sister.
Amen.
Woo!
Take care.